Well, I have another treat for you. Surprise, surprise. Today, my conversation is with my lifelong friend, Tiffy Baker. Her married name is Tiffany Baker Larnicol. You know, there are people who walk into a room and immediately make it feel more alive. Tiffy is one of those people, and I say that as someone who has known her since we were kids growing up in Nashville. She's done things that most of us only dream of, modeling internationally, owning her own modeling agency, living in Japan and in Paris and France, and she currently is in Dubai. The story that she shares is, when I say relevant, it is relevant and very present. And I am really looking forward to sharing my dear friend, Tiffy, with you. Well, hello, and welcome to Story Sessions, where your story matters. I'm your host, Laura Lynn Donahue, and each week we gather for meaningful conversations rooted in lived experience. Let's dive in. Hi, Tiffany. I'm so glad to have you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, but it's still, I just want to reach out and hug you. It's still so very far away.
Yeah. Especially when it's night where you are and day where we are. The distance, but at the same time, that heart feeling of connection is still right there.
Yes, we go back literally to the cradle together.
Yes, we do. I was thinking about our growing up just together, really, and our parents went to college together and knew each other, and we even went to Disney World together. Remember?
Yes, we did. That was a big together. We did,
Yeah.
and actually, last year when I was cleaning out my storage unit, I have so many pictures of us together. So many. I sent you, or I posted on Instagram a few that I found.
Yes.
But I have so many, and I'm so grateful to our families for putting us together and keeping us together through all the important steps in our lives. And they made sure that we were there for each other. And that's really, I have to give our mothers credit for that.
Absolutely. It's really special. I don't know how much of that is done these days, of that continuity of connection. And I know it's probably rare to have friends that share so many decades, together.
Yes.
And
I agree.
So we grew up in Nashville, and I don't know if this was your modeling debut, but I think it was mine, on the cover of Nashville magazine with Santa Claus. 1974.
Yes. Bill Loki shot that. Do you remember Bill Loki?
Yes.
His mother was music teacher at Lipscomb, and Bill was of a man. Yes. And got us all together. That's an amazing picture.
It's your career in modeling went a little further than mine. So we obviously have immediate connection and history together. I would love for our listeners and our viewers to know a little bit more about, and if you don't mind me calling you Tiffy, because you were Tiffy. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes, because if someone calls me Tiffy, I know that they've known me my whole life. And that then I get a really special feeling, because I know that they know the the Tiffy of all the changes that I've gone through my
Yeah.
entire life. So no, I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay. Good. Well, I just wanted to make sure because it's so endearing. Um,
Sure, I sent you, I said, Tiffy, Larlin, and Mimi, and I just
yeah.
thought, in what world do you get those names together?
Uh, uh, Never. Unique combination for unique women, right? I mean, there's so much to talk about. There's so much. You have a very rich story. But I would like for you, if you don't mind, to give us just a little bit of a picture, a peek into the window of young Tiffy and how she went from Nashville to was Japan your first?
So I actually started modeling in Nashville
Mhm.
in high school through a program at an old department store there. I don't know if you remember, but Custer Not, if you're not familiar with Nashville, was this wonderful, old, well established department store that
Mhm.
every year had girls from different schools that represented the department store. And so you had weekly events, and it was just a great, weekly shows, and you could even do extra things. And it was a great place for me to get my feet wet.
Mhm.
Um, and as you know, Nashville was different then.
Yeah.
I call it, it was this adorable little boutique city.
Yeah.
And we knew a lot of great people that would connect us, and it was just easy to network. And I don't know, everything seemed very sort of sweet and innocent and seamless. And so
Mhm.
that's where it started. And I always really wanted to keep going.
Mhm.
Um, but my parents really pushed, no, you need to go to university. And my mother really pushed, you're going to have to go to a Christian university.
Mm.
So that limited things a little
Yeah.
bit. So because I wanted to leave Nashville, that meant I wasn't going to go to Lipscomb. I did want to go to Abilene, but that was really a little bit too far, probably for my comfort zone.
Mhm.
So I ended up going to Harding, and I just I never got over the fact that I still wanted to do what I wanted to do. Something I've realized as I get older is you don't really, the core of you doesn't really change that much.
Mm-mm. No, you're right.
And this is coming from someone who's lived all over the world, and I can live in all different cultures and try all different things. But at the end of the day, there's certain things about me that they just are what they are.
Yeah.
And I think I was always drawn to the entertainment field or traveling. I loved being creative. Yeah, I loved creating. And because it was introduced to me in a safe way,
Mm.
unlike all these other stories that you hear now,
Yeah.
especially now that so much of the Epstein files are coming
Yes.
out.
Yes.
I was a very unusual case. It was introduced to me in a safe environment.
Mm.
And the first photographer I worked with in Nashville was Russ Harrington. And I remember him saying, if your parents want to come to the photo shoot, they can. I can call
Mm.
your parents, tell them everything that's going to happen. I mean, it was
Wow.
just, wow. So fortunate. I feel so, now looking back, I feel so protected through, and then, I mean, even through my whole career, not just in the beginning. So I went to university, but this was still calling me. And I just thought, if I don't do this now, I mean, modeling is about, you have to start young.
Yeah.
And I realized I needed to try.
Mm.
So I was living in Memphis, and an agency from Japan scheduled me. And I went, and literally the first trip, I kind of knew that almost the minute I landed, there was something there.
Mm.
But I had it set in my mind because that what my agent told me or what society told me that I needed to be in Europe.
Mm.
So I
Got
spent
it.
a lot of time trying to change myself,
Mm.
trying to change the pictures, trying to change actually the best aspects of myself that actually are what made me successful in Japan that were working against me in Europe. This is
Mm.
when heroin chic was popular. And so I don't have that face.
Mm.
And no matter how much black eyeshadow you put on me, uh, no matter how grungy, I still have a clean face.
Yeah.
So I went to Europe. It was a disaster in every way. Now, we don't have to focus on the Epstein files, but
Yeah.
looking back on it,
Yeah.
now I'm seeing every month more information comes out.
Yep.
That was the time when it all started and those girls were being trafficked. About, let's say you can still have a good book and not be working. Sometimes it's just look at the draw.
Yeah.
And let's say you're not working and your agency says, well, I know this man, he's very well connected in New York. He knows, or he was even saying he was a casting director, or he knows people who can help you get a job.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I was sort of divinely protected and taken
Yeah.
to Japan. So I realized so many of these things later in life. But at the time, I was devastated.
Yes. Yes. And you don't know what you're being saved from, or
I was
maybe even that you're
saved
being
from a
saved.
lot.
Yeah.
I was saved from, I think, more than I could ever imagine.
Mm. Yeah. Well, the the very fact that these women's lives have been violated at such a young age is heartbreaking, but even more so, they need to be vindicated.
Yes.
And I am grateful that you, as my friend, did not experience that type of abuse and trafficking. But again, like you said, you didn't know what you were being kept safe from. And,
Yeah.
we do say hindsight's 2020, or had I known then what I know now. But we don't know until we know.
No, and I would like to add one thing is it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
It's not, did you know, did you not know? It can happen before you know it. And we're seeing that with more and more women coming out with their stories about how manipulative this man was and the people around him. There was a whole network of agents and agencies that knew exactly what was going on. And
Yeah.
this went on for close to 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was kept protected, so it it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was special. I'm grateful.
Mm.
But that is why it's something that one of the things I take an initiative as an adult, because I was sort of saved in a way that I really tried to speak out about this
Yeah.
to raise awareness. And it's not a political agenda for me. This is about women who are taken advantage of, and the story needs to be completed.
I wholeheartedly agree, and really respect your advocacy. It's very important. Being of the Gen X generation, we were often told to be quiet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And this really bothers me. Now I'm really vocal.
good for
Which
you. Yes.
is probably why I married a Frenchman because they're really vocal, sometimes more than you would like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but now we have the choice
Yeah. Yeah.
of how we use our voice.
Yes. Yes. And there's a newfound freedom in that, and perhaps even another life to be lived in that.
Yeah, and I have to say your book really helped me with that.
Oh,
I
oh,
When I
thanks.
received your book, because we do have this sort of meshed history together,
Yeah. Yeah.
aligned sort of together.
Hmm.
When I read your book, um, it also inspired me more. It
Mm.
prompted me more to uh, encourage me to speak out more.
Oh, good.
It gave me a lot of courage, and I just want to say thank you for
Oh,
writing the book and putting it out there.
well, thank you. I appreciate that very much, Tiffy. You know, it's all of our stories are important, no matter where you are on the spectrum of being known or not known. Everyone's story
Absolutely.
is important.
Every story moves through stages, and Story Sessions is built to meet you at each one. Start with a focused discovery session to uncover your story's arc, and then move into a guided series that sharpens your voice, your positioning, and your path forward. And when you're ready, step into launch with expert coaching to help your story land with clarity and impact. And sometimes, when a story truly stands out, we don't just help guide it, we publish it. Find out where your story starts at storysessions.live.
Let's go to Japan for a little bit and tell us what that was like to live there, work there. You were in both Tokyo and Osaka?
Osaka.
Osaka.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So my first trip was to Osaka, and again, hindsight's 2020, and maturity then was a little bit less. I was a little disappointed my first trip was to Osaka because of course I wanted to go to Tokyo. That was the bigger city, that was the more well-known market.
Yeah.
But now when I look back, my first trip being to Osaka was so wonderful because I was embedded more in real Japan,
Mm.
traditional Japan. Tokyo really was the metropolitan, modern city. And Osaka, a lot of people don't know this, is really more the business district. A lot of companies are headquartered there.
Mm.
Um, you could get a lot of work there. They even paid more there because they were
Nice.
always competing with Tokyo. So they
Uh,
had to pay models more to come there. So I ended up having a client there, a regular client for 12 years. Kept things stable for me and I loved them. And
mm.
again, going back to my roots in Nashville, it was a department store. Who
Mm.
would have thought,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
experience would carry over and keep food on the table for me and pay my
Yeah.
bills. So, never underestimate the small steps that you're making, maybe in your small
Mm.
town
Mm.
or in your small space, the things you're working towards. Don't underestimate it.
Yeah.
It might actually probably will lead to something later. So, I mean, I just spoke no Japanese. I didn't know how to hold chopsticks. I'd never had sushi before.
Yeah.
I don't know where to begin. I think I tried to take 4 suitcases the first time. I figured out you weren't allowed to do that. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So I really had a crash course
Mm.
very quickly in growing up
Mm.
and being thrown out like into the deep end. And, all of a sudden I'm with all these models. They travel all over the world, and for them, this is nothing. And I was just kind of wide-eyed and
Yeah.
just trying to watch and pay attention and
Mhm.
having no idea if this was going to work out or not. And luckily it did.
Mm.
I was very open to the experience, and I went very non-judgmental
Yeah.
about Japanese culture,
Mhm.
which I knew nothing about. And I think making that conscious choice from that first trip not to judge set the tone for my life from then to where I am now.
That's such an important marker.
Yeah. And I've lived in, I don't know, 5 countries since then. I married a foreigner. I remember thinking with my first trip, well, if I can make it through the 2 months, and I will see in Japan, and maybe I don't make any money. Yeah, it's just never underestimate it. So I fell in love with Japan. I have a love story there. I consider it to be my second home.
Mm.
I adore the culture, the food, the manners, the way of which things are done, the preciseness, the kindness, the actually many things actually that you and I were raised as things that maybe our families would have appreciated, maybe even our parents would have appreciated, just in a different society.
Yeah.
I just adore it there, and I miss it so much. But I make an effort no matter where I live. I have Japanese friends, and yeah, and I try to keep Japan in my life somehow.
That's such a beautiful picture in my mind, seeing you in Japan, especially. I mean, I've never been, but so I have to have, my own conjuring of what that looks like. But I trying to put myself in your shoes, and with the context that you came from, that I also lived with, small town Christian, church on every corner, religious rules. We were blessed, if that's the best word. It's the one that comes to me right now, to have parents who did teach kindness or practiced kindness. And while I know prejudice existed, it was not a part of our growing up with our parents. And
no, and I think especially you and I mean, with both of our families, but especially when I think of it, I think especially of our mothers, the efforts, both of our mothers. I remember your mother was always so wonderful about writing notes and thank you notes, because her writing was very distinctive. I can always remember her writing.
Do you read it?
And she always gave the best gifts, but very thoughtful gifts. Really thinking about what would I like, as a child. I remember this. And the Japanese do this, they place high importance on gift giving, not on the cost, but on the thoughtfulness. So you never go to someone's house without a gift, but you think about what what would they like? And this was instilled in us. This was
Yeah.
our mothers, our southern mothers. I mean,
Yeah.
our grandmothers.
Yeah.
And so I guess there's something there with that. But in Japan, then you have all the mystique of it being in Asia and the deep history, and it's exotic, and I look forward to going back. I hope in retirement I can live there part-time.
Oh, wonderful.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
Well, I have several places that I need to come visit you.
Yes, you do. I would not. You do not have to come to Dubai right now. I'll let you
Okay.
I will pass on that one right now. Although it's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Although there's a war going on,
Yeah.
there's actually a lot to learn. So,
Yes. Well, I believe that, let's see, it was you, me, Turner Gaw, Mary Harper, I don't want to, was Christy Burton Majors, that were like on Facebook. And we were like this little group for a little while before. Does that ring a bell?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, but anytime Turner's involved, I'm worried.
You're
Yeah, I'm worried.
I think it was safe enough. But
He knows what I'm talking about. He'll laugh. He
yeah,
spent his soul on terrorizing me.
yeah, I can see that. Well, in that group, what I was thinking is being able to be connected to you, and everyone in the group, but especially because you were overseas. It was post Japan, I believe, but I was able to like see culture through your eyes that I hadn't experienced before. And I thought that was a real gift that you brought to the conversation.
Thank you. I really try to use my pictures to show special, unique aspects of other cultures that maybe will give people an inside view that they wouldn't normally have. I think about that a lot, being here with the war going on. And I've tried to do that a few times since it's been going on. Although there is a law here where we're technically not supposed to, there's a privacy law, we're not supposed to take a picture of people's faces without their permission, but in general.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of famous people have moved here, because they have great privacy.
Mm.
There have been so many times since the war started, I wanted so badly to take pictures of people that I know are suffering because of this.
Mm.
For people to understand how we've all come together here. All of us have suffered at some level in this.
Yeah.
This, when you're involved in a war, it does not discriminate how much money you have. It affects all of us. And we could be on here for hours explaining the ways that it affects us. But of course, it's also very hot here right now. So there's many times I see things, I'm in the car during the day, and I just think, oh, I want to grab that picture, that says so much. I don't know if people will interpret it the way I do.
Yeah.
But that is something that takes a lot of pride and joy. And I'm so fortunate to live overseas. And even though there is a war going on, which is tragic, it's also such an opportunity to learn so much.
But let's at least let the audience know how you got from Japan to Dubai. You don't need to give, just give us a little segue.
I had been working in Japan for 15 years and was based there the last 10 years of my career. And my career was coming to an end. I had outlasted way past what I ever thought was possible. And I was single, and I actually thought, well, I've had a good run. I don't really know how I can move this into something else here. The economy was starting to suffer in Japan pretty badly. And so I pretty much decided I was going to move home to Nashville. Yeah, I'd had a wonderful run. I was a little bit heartbroken to leave, but I was trying to be realistic. So finally I said to myself, I'll give myself 6 months here, and then I'll go home, and then I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, right as I said that, and I had no expectations of anything, I met my husband.
Wow.
He had just moved there, and oddly enough, he had lived in Japan during university in Osaka right before I had arrived.
Wow.
He spoke Japanese, so his first experience in Japan had been in Osaka, which is very rare to find.
Yeah.
And I met him one night at a party that I said I wasn't going to go to because I was finished with all of that. And he came up to me and introduced himself, and then he said he was French, and I said, no. I know all about you, Frenchmen in Japan, and no, thank you. I don't need any problems in my life right now here at the end of my career.
Yeah.
And I guess that egged him on, and he literally would not leave me alone.
Oh, I love that.
Because I was just like, I've already, been there, done that. And then, we really started to spend time together. And I think one thing that really connected us was Japan and the appreciation for the culture. French and Japanese have a lot in common. They have very high standards for food, for fashion, for architecture. So to be with a French person in Japan is a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
There's always been a big French community in Japan, strong community. So I met him, and next thing I know, 9 months later, his job is getting transferred to Paris. And he says to me, well, why don't you come? And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. I'm 40. Am I going to start a modeling career now? I'm going to have a modeling career in Paris. When it didn't work out when I wanted it to before. Thinking, oh, this is so upside down. But I've done everything in my life that way.
Yeah.
I've done everything sort of backwards. And I'm not going to try to figure it out now. Because now I'm in my late 50s. So, it's always ended up working out.
Yeah.
So very quickly, next thing I know, we're moving to Paris.
Wow.
And what a shocker, because I went from, I guess in French they say like gentil, like sweet, gentle Japan.
Oh. Yeah.
To aggressive, hardcore weather, confrontational Parisians.
Yeah.
And I had basically kind of become Japanese in Japan, is what I realized. because it worked for me, and I loved it. So I love the
Yeah.
culture. So Parisians, so if you mix me kind of being Japanese with being Southern, and you try to put that in Paris
Yeah.
with this aggressivity, they cannot stand you smiling. I'm smiling at everybody. They cannot stand it if you try to speak to them. I'm saying hello to everybody. And I'm trying to talk to everybody.
It sounds like New York. No, I'm kidding.
But worse than New York, because, you know, they will say, like, you know, French are very quick, but Parisians in particular, you know, very quick, mean things. And, you know, I'd be like, what? They didn't really mean that, did they? So it was, what a shock, you know? But, you know, it was time. I needed to move on. And this is how I've always done things in my life. It's like I went from Tennessee to Japan. Like, you know, I can't do things like in small steps. You know, I have to do it in these huge jumps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my husband got me through that. We got married shortly after that. And then life changed tremendously to trying to navigate life in Europe. And I'm sure people watching this are going, oh, yeah, well, that sounds really difficult, Tiffany. You know, you're living in Paris. But it was difficult because if you know what it's really like to live there, you know it's not for the faint of heart. And but anyway, it was interesting. My husband's very involved in the art world, so I started to learn about art. I started to try to learn French. That took a long time.
But you did it.
Yeah.
Or you're doing it still.
Well, yeah, it will be a lifelong process, but
ever evolving.
yeah. I did just get my French nationality.
Yay. Congratulations.
In September. Thank you. Which was a big deal. I now have dual nationality. Very proud moment.
Yeah.
So then we had this, really lovely, the Parisian life once I got used to it. And I guess what Paris gave me was a tough, and it gave me my voice and permission to basically say whatever I needed to say that I probably needed to say my whole life.
Yeah.
And so what amazes me in Paris and what I learned is, a lot of times we go for Sunday dinner at his mother's place. And I get along great with his families, no problems. But, it's very common for French families to get together and they have these confrontational discussions about politics, whatever may be going on. And it can get really heated. And next thing you know, they can be shouting or cursing French. And I would just sort of freeze, and I didn't understand all of everything. But then everyone just walks away and everyone's fine. No one holds a grudge. Then we meet the next time. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how freeing is this?
Sounds pretty healthy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe sometimes the yelling can get to be
maybe a little much, but the room to be able to use your voice.
This was really freeing for me. And then, when my French started to get a little bit better, there were times where I got a little bit feisty on people, because then I thought, well, if this is what everybody does here, then I'm going to try it out. Especially if I see something like an injustice or, the French have this thing about they like to cut line. People, if you're French, people know, like there's there's 10,000 memes out there about how French are cutting a line at the supermarket. And then I would get back in front of them, and then they try to get back in front of me. I'd be like, no, 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 no. And and then I'd go into this whole thing about in French about why they shouldn't cut lines. And, it was ridiculous. But, I guess I needed that.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, as ridiculous as it sounds, the way it went about it. But
I think it's wonderful. Because, like we referenced earlier, the Southern nature for us growing up, our Gen X generation, was be quiet. Don't speak out. Don't say exactly what you feel. Be sure to sugarcoat it or stuff it. The way that you were immersed in, both of these cultures and the gifts that those cultures really have given you, and finding your voice and using your voice are so important for us as individuals, but as women.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was very freeing. In particular, I think maybe I found my feminist side. I maybe careful how I use the word feminist, because everyone has this idea of what they think feminist is.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just simply being able to state what you believe in as a woman and honoring your feminine qualities at the same time, while being able to be strong and being respected. And this is something great in France. It was the first time in my life where I saw that men and women are really equal, and to the point that I was really surprised when I got my first identity card. It kept my maiden name on there. And I asked my husband, I said, but I don't understand. Why is my married name not on here? And he said, oh, no, in France, on your identity card, you keep your name.
Oh, wow.
That's your identity.
Yeah.
We don't understand all these things that we've taken for granted over the years. Like, I know I'm going to get pushback for this, but it's okay. But these small things, like, the name, and then it's this, and then it's that. Don't understand how these things will build up. Yeah. And, France was this first place where I really saw men, and I know people, it might be hard for people to understand this because maybe they have an idea about Frenchmen, but they have an appreciation for women, but also a respect. That they want to hear, what do you think? What do you think? Intellectual. They want to have an intellectual conversation with you.
Wow. Yeah.
It's the exact opposite. Actually, if you can't hold a conversation to a certain degree and challenge them, they'll move on.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite memories when I first moved there was one day I was coming around the corner from our flat, and there was a French gentleman, maybe around my age, and a French grandmother who was going to the marché, which is the open market.
Oh,
to buy, we go to the open market several times a week to get fresh vegetables, fruit. And she had on her lovely sweater and skirt matching with still wearing a little heel, which I cannot believe that she can do, but still wearing a little heel with her handbag. And, he was so engaged and listening to her and talking to her, and not like feeling sorry for her because she's older, but reviewing her for her journey, that, she's reared a family, and she's taking the time to respect herself, to dress up, and she has on her lipstick. And this is just has been so wonderful for me. A lot of fun too, because
Yeah.
you can throw things around now. Things don't have to be so I don't know, not politically correct, but socially correct.
There doesn't have to be big consequences to everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, like, we're gonna get punished in some way. So I have a lot of fun with it with my husband, because I tried to combine my Southern background with my newfound strength, and I try to put them together, and there's nothing he can do.
You're so nice and you're so right.
It's trying,
Yeah.
And so I guess finally at mid-age, I'm middle age, a little bit past, it can kind of exhale, right?
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
But you that with that exhale, you remember that there's another breath to take and another exhale, and the process continues. And it's important. Both sides of the breath are important, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just had this conversation tonight at dinner about talking about what comes next. What is the next chapter now, discussing our age and what do we want next. And I think the war has brought up a lot of these questions because, you look at your mortality all of a sudden differently. And he and I both have had similar journeys that we've been, like you said, very rich and full, but a little bit exhausting to a certain point. So the good thing is we have the experience and we have all of these tools in our toolbox. But now we want to be a little bit choosier in what choices we make from here.
Yeah.
Or maybe more cognizant.
Yeah.
Time and space and people that you give energy to.
Well, presence even.
Yeah.
Being
because
there in the moment.
In a way, he and I are opposites, but he and I are alike in one way, that when we put energy into something, we put all of lives. And at this age, we're kind of, I don't want to make it sound like we're old. We're not old, but maybe we're wiser in the way that we're like, maybe not delve in quite that deep on that subject anymore.
Yeah, I get it.
And also, taking better care of yourself, your mental health, physical health, emotional health in every way.
Yeah. My conversation with Tiffy was so rich and full of detail that we decided to break it up into 2 parts. So next week, tune in for the second part of our interview, where Tiffy talks about her time in Dubai and fleeing when the war in Iran began. Thanks so much for listening to Story Sessions, where your story matters. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you know. To learn more about the Story Sessions family, visit storysessions.live. That's storysessions.live. Thanks so much, and see you next week.